Hello learners, welcome to NIOS platform. I am Dr. Uma Singh and I shall be discussing accounting terms for you. As you know that for the preparation of accounts and financial statements, it is essential that a clear understanding of accounting terms is required because these are specific terms of accountancy and a clear identification and understanding of these terms will help you in preparing the accounts and the financial statements. So, let us learn about what these accounting terms are. So, in this chapter, we shall be talking about defining various accounting terms and identifying these terms through case studies to give you a better understanding. Now, the entire accounting structure rests upon four major terms, which are assets, liabilities, revenue, and the fourth is the expense. Now, the main accounting terms that you will come across when you prepare the accounts and when you prepare the financial statements are capital, drawings, assets, liabilities, revenue, expense, expenditure, profit, loss, purchases, sales, stock, receivables, payables, debtors and creditors, and the term debit and credit. Now, let us start with the various accounting terms. First is capital. Now, capital is the amount invested by the owner in the business. So, it is also called as the owner's equity. Now, what is owner's equity? It is the owner's stake in the business. It shows how much is his investment as assets in the business. So, this constitutes capital. Second item is drawings. Now, drawing constitutes the amount of cash or goods withdrawn by the proprietor from the business for his personal or domestic use. Now, many a times the proprietor may use some of his products for his own personal use. That is referred to as drawings. For example, a furniture manufacturer may use furniture at his home for his personal use. So, that constitutes his drawings. Now, a very important accounting term is asset. What are assets? Assets is anything that is owned by an individual or a business. So, they constitute the possessions and it has a value attached to it. So, the assets are the possessions that are valued in terms of money. They are the properties of business like land, building, machinery, furniture, stock, debtors, cash and bank balance. So, all these items have a value attached and they constitute of the business. Now, the assets can be classified into many categories. The categories can be fixed assets, current assets, tangible assets, intangible assets and wasting assets. Now, let us learn about the different categories of assets. First is fixed assets. Fixed assets are the assets which are acquired not for the purpose of reselling, but for the purpose of use in the business. So, their basic objective or purpose is to increase the earning capacity of the business by using them. So, they are deployed by the business for the purpose of generating more revenue and they are not there for sale or disposition in the near future. They are for long term and the business is going to use them for a longer duration of time. So, example of fixed assets can be land, building, machinery, computer, vehicles, furniture, etc. Next is current assets. Another important classification of assets is current assets. So, current assets are those assets which are or which can be converted into immediate cash within a short period of time, and this short period of time is generally 1 year. So, these are the assets that are possessed by the business for a shorter duration like cash in hand, bank balance, debtors, stock, bills receivables, etc. So, these are some of the current assets. Then we talk about tangible assets. So, these are some of the examples of tangible assets: building, machinery, furniture, computer. Now, next category is that of intangible assets. So, intangible assets in contrast to tangible assets are those which cannot be seen and they do not have any physical existence and you cannot touch them. So, these are some of the patents, goodwill, etc., and they come under the category of intangible assets. Another important category is wasting assets. So, what are wasting assets? Wasting assets are those assets which are natural resources, that is, they are extracted and consumed as raw materials like mines, oil wells, quarries, etc. Now, we talk about liability. What is a liability? Liabilities are the claims of the proprietor and outsiders. So, any amount which the firm owes to the proprietors and outsiders is a liability for the business. So, they can be claims of the proprietors to the business or the claims of outsider to the business. So, they are the obligations or the debts which the business owes, not owns, it owes to the outsiders. Now, these liabilities can be external liabilities and internal liabilities. So, what is the difference between an external liabilities and internal liabilities? So, external liabilities, as the name suggests, are those liabilities which the business owes to the outsiders for the goods purchased on credit or for any expenses or loans that have been taken from banks and financial institutions. So, these are the amount which the business owes to the outsiders, either on the creditors or from the banks and financial institutions. So, these are some of the examples of external liabilities: bills payable, bank loan, outstanding salaries, sundry creditors. Now, internal liabilities. Internal liabilities are those liabilities which the business owes to the owners or the proprietors. So, that is why the word internal. So, the liabilities are owned by the business to its internal owners or the proprietors. These are the amount contributed by the owners towards the business, and it is constitutes and it is the liability for the business concern. So, the business owes this amount back to the proprietors and the owners. So, these are some of the examples: capital, interest on capital, profits of the business, the undistributed profit, and the reserves and surpluses that it has made over the years. Next accounting term is revenue. Revenue constitutes the inflow of money or other assets that results from sale of goods or services provided or from the use of money. So, it is the amount realized or receivable from the sale of goods. So, it is a reoccurring item, it is a regular item, it is regular in nature and it is concerned with the day-to-day affairs of the business. It should be calculated in the period in which it is earned or it is realized. So, the sources of revenues could be sale of goods, rent received, interest income received, dividend received. These are all categorized and clubbed together as revenue. Then comes the item of expenses. What are expenses? All cost incurred in earning revenue is called as an expense. It refers to the cost which is incurred in acquiring an asset or a service. It is the amount spent in order to produce and sell the goods and services. Example, transportation cost incurred in transferring the raw material. So, some of the items of expenses can be wages, cartage, rent paid for the office or for the factory, insurance premium, etc. Another accounting term is expenditure. Now, expenditure, there is a difference between expense and expenditure. Expenditure we generally relate to the amount spent on the purchase of assets. So, it is used for the purchase of fixed assets, which is going to increase the profit earning capacity of the business. So, the expenditure on the purchase of furniture, machinery, building, land, etc. would be called as expenditure. Next accounting term is profit. What is profit? It is the excess of business revenue over business expense over a period of time. So, it is the difference between the total revenue generated during the period and the cost involved in generating the revenue. So, the difference is referred to as the profit. It is an addition to the owner's equity. In contrast, there is loss. So, when the cost is more than the revenue, it results into losses and it decreases the value of the net assets. So, what is losses? It is the excess of business expenses incurred over the business revenue earned during the year, and it decreases the owner's equity. So, in contrast to profit, which increases the owner's equity, losses brings down the owner's equity. Next accounting term is purchases. Purchases means the purchase of goods and services in which the firm deals. So, if an automobile dealer buys cars, it will constitute purchases. But if it procures land or building, it will not be a part of purchases. So, what is important here is that purchases will constitute only those items in which the business is dealing. So, an automobile dealer, since he deals with automobiles, so any purchase of automobiles would be a part of purchases. What are sales now? Next item. Sales means the exchange of goods and services for the money again in which the firm is dealing. So, if the automobile dealer is selling goods and services, so the money that he earns or realizes on the sale of those automobiles would be sales. But if he sells land, building or any other consumable item, then that will not be a part of sales for the automobile dealer, because he is not a dealer of the automobile. So, sales will constitute only items pertaining to the business. Next accounting term is stock. Stock means that all goods and merchandise that he has purchased for the sale in the ordinary course of business. So, it constitutes the raw material used for producing or manufacturing goods, the semi-finished products or what we call it as work in progress, and finished products or goods. Another important accounting term is a debtor. Now, what is a debtor? Debtor is a person who owes money, and on what account? So, debtor owes money to the business on account of goods sold to him. Added terminology to debtor is receivable. So, in addition to debtors, there may be some other persons who owe money to the business. They are called as receivable. So, this includes bills receivable or accounts receivable. Next is creditor. Creditor is a person to whom the business owes money on account of credit purchases. Many number of times the business buys and purchases raw material but does not give an immediate cash benefit. So, to these persons the business owes money on account of credit purchases. So, these people or this firm would be referred to as a creditor for the business. Now, in addition to creditors, we have payables. Now, there may be some persons to whom the business owes money. So, this would be part of bills receivable or accounts receivable. Now, what is debit and credit? Since in accountancy we follow the concept of dual accounting principle, dual means double entry. So, in business transactions, all financial or business transactions have two sides. One is a debit side and the other is the credit side. And for a financial transaction, the debit amount should always be equal to the credit amount. Now, double entry bookkeeping. Now, the practice of having equal debit and credit is called as the double entry bookkeeping. Under this system, every transaction has a dual aspect or two aspects. One is the debit aspect and the other is the credit aspect. So, at the time of recording a transactions, we have to be very careful that both these aspects are recorded, the debit aspect as well as the credit aspect, because then only it will equalize the transactions and the double entry system would be systematically followed. Now, let us take a case study to understand the various accounting terms that we have till now discussed. Jaya started a business with cash for rupees 2 lakh on 1st April 2012. He opened a bank account by depositing rupees 50,000 on the same date. On 2nd April 2012, he obtained a loan for rupees 1 lakh from State Bank of India, and on 3rd April 2012, he purchased goods for rupees 70,000 from Ravi on credit. On the same date, he gave a bills payable to Ravi, which will become due after 2 months. So, on this basis, you have to identify the various accounting terms that are associated in the case. So, the first is capital. Now, as you can see that in the case, the person Jay started his business with a cash of 2 lakhs. So, there is a cash balance of 2 lakhs and also the capital for 2 lakhs. We are simultaneously following the double entry system also. So, the cash is there for 2 lakhs and similarly capital is also there for 2 lakhs. Then he opens a bank account by depositing 50,000. So, the bank balance would be 50,000 and then again on the next day he obtains a loan for 1 lakh. So, his bank account increases to 1 lakh and a total becomes 50,000 plus 1 lakh. So, 1,50,000 would be your total bank balance. But apart from that, since he is taking a loan of 1 lakh from State Bank of India, so his liability also increases. So, the liability amount or the loan amount will reflect 1 lakh. Next is he purchased goods from for rupees 70,000 from Ravi. So, one is purchases will increase to 70,000 and similarly now these purchases have been made on credit. So, the business owes 70,000 to Ravi who becomes our creditor. So, we will show 70,000 as the amount for Ravi creditor as a liability, and then there is also a bills payable that have been issued to Ravi for the next 2 months. So, the bills payable reflect 70,000. So, from this case study, we have been able to identify the various accounting terms that we have just understood. So, capital, bank balance, liability and bills payable. Now, let us take another example to make our understanding more clear. On 12th April 2012, the machinery purchased from Kailash stores on credit for rupees 50,000. On 13th April 2012, he sold goods for cash 12,000 and on credit to Ram for rupees 9,000. On the basis of your knowledge about the various accounting terms that we have just understood, again identify the various terms involved in this case. Now, on the basis of this case study, the various accounting terms that can be identified are that first is an asset has been procured, purchased, that is machinery for rupees 50,000. So, we will have machinery as assets for rupees 50,000 and we are buying it on credit So, we will have liability of Kailash Stores reflecting at 50,000. Now, he is not a creditor, but it will come as a liability because the business is not dealing in machinery. It is only procuring and buying machinery for the purpose of making goods and services. So, this will not, Kailash Stores is not our creditor. He is this is our liability. Next is on 13th April, goods have been sold for cash 12,000 and on credit to Ram for rupees 9,000. Now, the goods in which the business is dealing have been sold to Ram. So, Ram becomes our debtor for rupees 9,000 and our cash balance increases because we are selling goods on cash. So, we will have current assets for cash for rupees 12,000. So, on the basis of the case study, you have been able to identify the various accounting terms such as assets in respect of machinery, then liabilities for Kailash Stores, then revenue generated on account of total sales made, the cash as current assets, and then Ram the debtor. So, in this chapter we have understood the various accounting terms that will help us and enable us to understand the various accounting procedures as well as how the financial statements are made, and also identify these terms through the case study. Thank you. So, in this chapter you have understood the various accounting terms which will enable now you to have a better understanding of the accounting procedures as well as help you in the preparation of the accounting records and finally the financial statements. Also through the case study, you have understood that what are the various accounting terms that are involved in the illustration and the case study. Thank you.